amazing wife down on the right-hand side, and you got Susan
Hey.
over there as well. So yeah, we're pretty much bugging Susan about her creative process and how she gets into her creative process and how she actually came up. We did a photo shoot, just some background. We did a photo shoot today. She approached Soph. Soph approached me. So Sue's the head makeup artist. We've got some amazing shots with an amazing model called Steph. Jump in there, Sue.
We did, yeah.
Steph Potter.
Steph Potter.
Steph Potter. And Soph was on hair, so she did the hair of it. I think it was pretty good. We rocked it pretty hard. And yeah, so the guys, Sue's just going to talk about how she got into a creative process straight after her tea. And what made her come up with this type of idea and what makes you continue to be creative?
Yeah, well, my first steps, I'd say, would be to check out Steph's style. So I want to make sure that Steph is comfortable because we're collabing. So I looked at her photos, her imagery, what she likes, what her style was, and then just combine that with something that I'd like to have in my portfolio to share with other creatives as well.
Yeah.
So maybe it took me about 10 minutes to create everything, but I really just like to have an idea and then wing it on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of my style. Yeah, I like to be true to myself as well, not overdo it, or else I'll psych myself out.
Yeah.
How about you, Soph?
Well, I'm very different to Susan.
Yeah.
Hence the 3 million mood boards she got from me.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm the same as Susan. I just wanted to just see what Steph's style was, because there's no point in creating a board or creating a style, whether it's hair or makeup, which is like so left field to the model style. And Steph had a very easygoing, casual kind of vibe. And the hair that I put down as my reference was very 70s, very casual, free flowing. And that's what worked with her at the end of the day. Yeah, and I think it worked really well with the makeup too.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, first of all, what Susan was going to design for makeup, because it just allows me to kind of style what I wanted with hair. Because again, it's very left field, if that makes sense. Like if you're doing a smoky eye and then I'm doing beach waves, it just doesn't mix sometimes.
Yeah. You've just got to make sure that the ideas collaborate.
Yeah, totally. So that was the creative process for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I wanted to work with Susan and the style that she was going for as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So for myself, I was obviously the photographer on it. And honestly, I was winging it the whole time. My wife pretty much goes, you take photos in water, you can take photos of people. You take photos of marine life, you take photos of people. So I was pretty much just winging it that way on just going, okay, well, I know how to frame something. I know how to get that frame properly. I knew Steph's skill set of being a represented model. And I knew that she could actually produce some good work. Obviously, you do the stalking on Instagram, you do the stalking on Facebook. And you go, yeah, she can move. So I was pretty confident with that. And then as soon as we started rolling off the photos, she just kept on moving, changing positions. I think that's a real key for a photographer and model to be able to chop and change in those positions, to be able to produce that type of work, move the face, open the mouth, looking down the lens, look away from the lens, chin up, chin down, shoulder down, turn the body, all those types of situations.
Yeah.
I really think that's key for these types of, up-and-coming models for that style of things. Also for you as a creative, what keeps you driving, Suze, to want to produce work? What keeps you, I guess, motivated?
Yeah.
Because it can get quite boring, and you can definitely work with some painful photographers, which make you go, first off, I don't want to work with them.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
straight out, because he was very painful, and now I have to go back, and I feel like crap
Yeah.
because this guy's just talked down to me, or you've just had some clients that have just
It's
been
not a good experience.
yeah, it's not a good experience. So what keeps you motivated in and out of all that?
I think it's important to separate work as well as pleasure. Like, you know that you're working for a client, and so you're in there doing what the client wants and what the client needs. So, you know, if they'll allow you to be creative, that's amazing. But sometimes you're just kind of working with them and really putting their vision first. So that's where then you kind of can gather a team like us and then really do what you want and like be creative and then come up with ideas and bounce off each other. And I think that's how you keep it fun and fresh, by doing what you want, but also, you know, doing paid work with someone else.
So what's for you? What's the difference between, I guess, paid work and fun work? I believe that they're the same thing, to be honest with you.
I mean, they could definitely be. Yes, definitely. I think that once you find someone that you always want to work with, that kind of lets you be free, and if you're lucky enough, that lets you kind of be your own creative mind, then it becomes completely not a job. It becomes like your hobby is your job. Yeah, and I think that what I love, what keeps me motivated to create new looks and styles is other makeup artists.
Yeah.
So there's so many in the States that I love, in Australia that I love. I just love taking like classes and lessons from them. That keeps me creative for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Soph?
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, it's very, I don't know, like it's very different for me. Like I like draw inspiration from what's going on out there. And yeah, I think, I'm just a bit whack like that. Like, you know, with coronavirus and what's going on at the moment, like I want to do a shoot, you know, that's, you know, based off like the mask and things like that, and doing a makeup look off that, which is so whack and so out there. But I think that's where a lot of people draw inspiration from their own experiences, whether good or bad. And that's where I draw my experiences from, really. Like, you know, it's very, what's the word? Like it's very self-expressive at the end of the day. And I think a lot of artists, they're just like slap stuff on or style something and, you know, they're like, that's a look. But what kind of draws me to other people especially is the self-expression. Like I could sit there and look at somebody that did like a very clean beauty look, but then the caption could be something so deep. And I could look at that and go, oh, wow, like I wouldn't have thought that's what you were thinking when you created that.
Wow.
It's
just
just
story tied it together.
Yeah. Like, it's just so whack of me. But yeah, I know. Do you feel that way? Like when you see a caption and you're like, far out, that's just so deep.
Definitely.
So deep.
It makes it relatable. Like you're right there with them when they created that and then executed the look.
Yeah. It's
epic.
Yeah, it's nuts. But also when you asked if like how I differ from paid to free work, I think I'm like you, Suze. Like I think, you know, if you're surrounded by like a group of really good people, like you don't consider it as, you know, work or exactly. You're just like flowing. And I can think of like one photographer, especially that I've worked with for 8 years now, and we still shoot free together, and he produces like great photos. But I know that any time that I'll shoot with him, it's like just a lot of fun and the content's there, and
you're enjoying.
Exactly.
Your creative self.
Yeah, exactly.
Epic.
I think that's what the difference is there. Yeah. But what I wanted to ask you, Rob, was you said you were doing like marine life and then working out of, you know, doing like portraits and things like that.
Yeah.
What is the difference? Because obviously you're shooting a human and then there's an animal, but then they would be the same kind of thing. You just don't go, can you just stand there and pose?
Unpredictable, I guess.
Yeah.
That one's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just give me 1 sec. I just want to do a couple of little adjustments because Rob's being anally painful. I think the difference for me is I am lucky enough that animals, not lucky, I don't think luck is with it, but animals, they don't move. They have their own, obviously, their own set standard. And in marine life, it's actually quite difficult because they will just stay there and they won't move at all.
Yeah.
And they're just like stand still. And it's just like, guys, if you just moved 1 centimeter back or forward or something across those lines, I would get the most epic shot possible. And you're just like, why me? Why? So you'd like, I guess when I do underwater marine life, I'm scuba diving, so I have very limited amount of time underwater. Okay, so the difference between portrait, one of them is a human, thankfully enough, and they can interact with the camera. So they they're interactive with the camera. They if they're well represented, they know how to move the lights.
Yep.
You can make the scene really enjoyable. I guess I was doing a bit of landscape as well and things across those lines, so I'd be restricted with. The reason why I like portrait a little bit is because I can pull out the lenses I'm using for my portrait that I was using for underwater. So I was using a lot of macro shots. So for this photo shoot, I pretty much kept to a 50mm macro.
Cool.
And that got the detail in her cheeks, skin, eyes. She had amazing eyes, which you could definitely photograph for days.
Amazing.
And the brows.
Oh, the brows. I don't know.
Oof.
That's a female thing.
Yeah, totally. It was so good.
So it was just the experience itself. Were you having them mesh together? It's not a comparison. It's two completely different categories, completely different categories, and but you're able to draw one from the other because one you're restricted with light. And you'd have to pump as much light into it as possible. Here, I've got a 3-light setup. I didn't use any flashes, and I'm still kind of stick by not using flashes at this point in time, probably because my ignorance of not knowing how to use flashes. But that's a work in progress, and we get used to it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we're here to learn.
Yeah, I think throughout all the processes for photography,
From each other.
yeah, we bounce everything from each other.
Yeah,
Soph
totally.
my wife, Soph, will tell me off if I'm doing something wrong, and Suze will
Don't be
just
like
give
that.
me an eye and go,
Don't be
Rob,
like that.
no, I don't think so.
We're not shy, are we?
No,
No.
I don't think that's what makes it easier for you guys, working with you guys, because it's not a shy environment, and we can have
Yeah.
some fun with it, and we can enjoy it.
Actually enjoy it.
Yeah. And like I was taking photos, and I could hear in the background going, "Ooh, this is amazing! Oh my goodness!" Yeah.
Oofta. Oh,
Bruh.
that is my like word. If I was there was a few of those today. Yeah, there was a few of those.
Signature word.
Yeah, oofed.
What she
Yeah.
got from the photo shoot was oof.
Oh man, there's some great shots. Great shots.
Those are amazing shots.
Yeah, thanks guys. And it wasn't for me. I didn't feel that it was a hard transition. It wasn't a hard cup of tea for me. I just felt that I was able to work with you guys and be able to really feel and move into that type of scenario really well. And it was enjoyable shoot.
And I think
Really
because you
enjoyable.
knew everybody, you felt more comfortable.
Exactly.
You're not feeling
that.
comfortable like to do something for the first time with people that support you. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now I had a question for you because
For
we've
me?
we've been working together for a while, and the other day I realized that it was like 12 years
Sorry.
that we've been
Yeah. Oh my god.
that we've been like working together.
12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been I wouldn't have realized it was 12
Amazing.
years. But have you, and you know, we've done the retail thing, we've done it all, but have you ever worked with
We've done it all.
worked with a group of people that you just went like cringe, like it was just so awkward?
Look, I think yes.
Sorry, Suze. I'm just
What-
gonna do that.
in my face.
Yeah.
I think yes, definitely. I think it's not the whole group, but I think it's maybe a few individuals. I mean, with every group that you work in, there's always going to be a few
Yeah.
individuals that you just don't gel with. But I think that that's the beauty of working in retail and things like that. It forces you to adapt to anybody that comes your way.
Any
Totally.
personality.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Because
Yeah.
you get all of them, don't you? Like all the personalities.
You get all sorts, like
Especially
the
in
bad,
retail.
the
all
ugly.
sorts.
Yeah, they are far.
which is, you know, amazing. It's what makes retail so good
Yeah.
because it really sets you up for life.
Yeah,
You've
definitely.
experienced every kind of person.
Yeah.
haven't you?
Yeah.
How about
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
So same question back at you. And if you did, how did you deal with it?
Yeah.
This is
definitely.
such a
Yeah,
retail
yeah,
question.
I love it. Love it.
Oh,
How would you deal with that, Sue?
how would you deal with that negative scenario?
Yeah.
I used to get all the time when I used to go to interviews. How would you get that? How would you deal with that?
Exactly.
You're on interview now.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's it. You're fired from your own
That's it.
business.
No,
You've been sacked.
you can't fire me. No.
I can try.
I'm the boss lady. It wasn't so much. I don't know. I probably had a fair few, but the recent one I remember, and I'm not saying names because I don't know if this person is like. No, I'm not naming names, but I'm just going to be like as vague as
You can tell
possible.
me after.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after. Vague as possible because I don't know whether they're watching or listening, but it was a bridal job and we did the trial and everything and she was great and happy, but then when it came to the wedding day meeting, it was just so awkward. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I didn't even talk to her. Like, her family just made it so awkward for me. And I'm just thinking, I don't know if it was like a cultural thing
Yeah.
because they were all Lebanese.
It was just a different vibe.
It was
Let's
just such a
keep
different
nationalities
vibe.
and
Yeah.
people out of it. Just describe the
Yeah, but
situation.
they were
Sophie's
mixed.
an Greca, so that's okay.
I'm a Greca. I know. I totally know what that whole world is like.
Yeah.
But they were a mix. But let's just say they were full Lebanese. But yeah, it was just like the whole thing was just so awkward. And I think I don't know what it was, but that was the only thing that I can think of that just there was no. I don't know. There was just no excitement. And it was like
It was
so
hard
awkward.
to deal
Yeah,
with. Did you just get through it and you just think, I'm just going to finish this job?
Yeah.
I'm just going to get it done.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like just one after the other, and it was hair, so it was really good,
Oh, beautiful.
but it was like just one after the other, and I was like, just get it done. But I think the divas in that scenario was the family, like it wasn't the bride, it was the family, and I was just
I've had that same scenario, that exact same situation.
Oh, you would have you're doing a lot of bridal.
Just one particular moment stands out, but all I thought was in my head was just get to the finish line and then you can leave.
done.
Yeah,
It is
be
done.
professional.
What
get
was the
it
name of
done.
the client?
Yeah. I actually, even if I thought about it now, it's like I've erased it from my brain and I would not be able to think about it. Like, I can't even tell you how I got here today. Like my short-term memories.
That's awesome
Yeah.
like that, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. If it's not
Switch
Google
off.
Maps,
Yeah.
and thank God that we have to look at Gregory's.
Yeah.
Anyway, besides the point, the way I got through that was just to power through, just get through it, and then, by the end of it, I thought I really earned my wage that day.
Yeah.
And also, when I got to the car, they had this little dog. And just to add insult to injury, the dog came up to my kit and lifted its leg.
No.
Just about. Thank God I saw
No.
just.
There's your foot. I'm sorry.
Thank God I saw it and I went, get out of here, you little shit. And I love
Oh
animals,
my
but that
God.
day I didn't love that animal.
Oh,
But
wow.
that was like all those little things at once stood
Icing
out
on
to
the
me.
cake.
Yeah.
And there was another makeup artist that came and she was like a separate addition to there was so many people. And she, as I left, she looked at me and just gave me these eyes of like, don't leave me here. And I was like, I'm sorry, but like, I got to go.
Right, I'm gone.
And I'm so happy, like I've just got to go, I did it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
That dog peeing on my kit would have been
Other than that, like I've not had clients
really, really bad.
that, not clients. Like every client that I have is so nice.
Yeah.
And that was actually a referred client. So I referred from another artist. I couldn't do her. So it wasn't actually a client that sought me out. Personally, so it's not my style of client. But my clients are always really like lovely and easygoing. But retail is a different story, isn't it? Yeah.
So
God,
let's step away from picking on our lovely clients.
Yeah, because we love our clients.
Yeah,
All
it's
our
juicy,
clients are
you know.
great. I know,
They
the
pay our
gossip's
bills.
Great, but
Gossip's good.
this is
I
about
love hearing it.
big creatives and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So what for makeup artists? So obviously you need to get yourself out there. You need to have just get your images out there. How do you get your customers through and through? Get them over that finish line. You can tell us all your lovely secrets so we can steal them off you.
Yeah.
And then we can start getting our own clients and not have to rely on Susan to get our clients.
Yeah,
No,
that's
joking.
it.
But yeah, just for the new guys that are out there that could potentially listen to this, is how do you get your clients? What is your little tricks or little tidbits that you feel that makes those bridals come to you week after week, or contact you week after week, check out your website week after week? Just those little things. It doesn't have to be a long drawn business plan or anything. Just
Oh yeah.
tips and tricks that you just want to let people know that they can trial it.
Tell me
I
everything.
think I will. I will.
Tell me all
Go
your
deep in
secrets. Tell
I
me.
think everything I do is based on what I would want for myself.
Yeah,
so you know,
so important.
yeah, like so if I think basically it's word of mouth, but I only get word of mouth because I've gone the extra mile at every single wedding.
Yeah.
So I've made sure that I do things that maybe other artists won't, and that I would want someone to help me with, because I know I'm stressed. I know that a bride's stressed and is not really thinking about going to pick up her lipstick and lip liner
Yeah.
from MAC. So I'll be the one that I'll say, like, look, I'll take care of that. We'll match you here, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to go get your
So like,
products.
kind of like that retail, that little bit of
Yeah.
Absolutely.
retail finesse.
I've got us taking care of them, absolutely. So I'm here to serve you in every way. So it's just more than the makeup. It's really I'm here for you in every step of the way. You can
Yeah.
contact me every step of the way. Any questions we can
Yeah.
figure out with each other. I just think it's going the extra mile for the client. And
Yeah.
so you always have word of mouth by ultimately being there for them completely and totally, not just for the day, but for every day leading
all
up
of
to
it.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
wedding. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
makes a huge difference. So every
Yeah.
wedding I have is generally word of mouth.
So
Wow.
good.
It's just-
so,
It's just
so
word of
good.
mouth.
Word of mouth. Yeah.
So do you get many, in saying that, do you get many, I guess, jobs from your social media? Do you get anything from your website or your Facebook? Do you get any direct
Definitely.
messages from that?
Definitely. And I always think about what I would look for. So I always type in Sydney hair or Sydney photographer
Yeah.
or Sydney brides or Sydney bridals. So I put my hashtags as Sydney makeup artist. I think hashtags are really important. And just tagging brands that might showcase your work.
Yeah.
Especially like Wedded Wonderland. If you're just in the bridal game, like
Yeah.
big accounts like Wedded Wonderland and etc. And you know, a lot of the time they showcase your work.
So how do you send it through so you can get showcased?
So you just tag them.
Just tag them.
Yeah, so if your work's good enough, it'll get
Yeah.
reposted. Or when you tag any company, somebody could look at their tagged photos and
Yeah.
see your work as well.
Of
So it's
course.
pretty much just like getting your work out there, especially
Yeah.
with brides.
Of course.
But I recommend having like a separate bridal page as well if you just want to focus on brides only. I think that it's a great way to showcase your portfolio.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Soph, I know you're pretty meticulous. Let's hear about your little
I know, I'm
secrets,
all about
tips,
business
and tricks.
plans. I really am.
Soph's all
I know.
about corporate, type it up and
Oh,
then process
no.
it and then think about it again. And
That's
then
why
type it up
it's
again.
annoying.
Want to work with
Yeah.
Soph because we're
Oh,
opposite, and that's the
it
perfect
attracts,
mix.
doesn't it?
What a
I
good
know,
fit.
like when I'm working with Susan, it's like whatever happens on the day, it's like I'm like I need a plan. It just
And I'm
ruins
like,
me.
Whatever happens. Let's go
Whatever.
with the flow.
That's why we
Yeah,
mesh.
That's why it's good.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
Good combination.
Totally. With the how to get into bridal.
Well, no, not get into how do your customers contact you?
Yep.
What are your little tips and tricks around that? Just for the guys that are beginning this journey.
I'm the same as Susan. Like a lot of the bridal bookings that I get is referrals. So I work with a lot of other artists, and especially one that gets booked out, and we work with another agency, if you can call it that. And we've known each other from working with that agency, and we've spoken over the phone, and she's referred me business, and then I refer her business. So it's like a tick for tack, really.
Amazing.
In this industry, like if people refer you work, then you would expect to refer them work back, right?
course.
It's like 101.
Absolutely.
if you don't, then, they get pissed off. Like, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
Like, pissed off.
yeah.
Oops. So get angry.
It's been done.
You can't censor it out.
Yeah.
So referrals, and I think when I got married, I think it kind of made me really think about the service that I was providing to my brides, because I just thought, okay, so how did I feel on my wedding day? Like, that's how the bride is going to feel on her wedding day. And if she, gets really angry or things like that, it's not because she's getting angry with you. It's just she's, stressed and, she's nervous or whatever. Like, there's so many emotions going on. So yeah, that's how I get a lot of my business. And yeah, a lot of people go through my website, and I've had a couple of people come through from my website, but a lot of that is in other states, because I obviously work out of other states as well. I have people working for me from out of other states. So Victoria, for example, is a good example where a lot of them go through my website, and then, they ask to have a trial or whatever. But in Sydney, like, it's referrals, because everyone knows everyone.
Yeah. So we're talking about bridal. What about editorial, or I don't know the makeup game that well.
Editorial,
but
yeah.
Editorial, or any other branding.
Yep.
Obviously the makeup industry and the makeup itself, all the products. Is there money to be made for makeup artists, aspiring makeup artist influencers? Are they even influencers, because all they're doing is selling stuff?
Yeah.
And everything across those lines of things is how do I reword this? I had the question.
So if makeup artists make money in the editorial industry?
Yeah. How do they make it in editorial? How do they make it as a brand focused thing? Is there money, or are the brands really just sapping the makeup artists because there's so many of them?
Well, this is what I say to students when I do teach this component at academies, is that what you've got to think of with editorial work isn't studio work. Editorial work is only that if you get published, right? You can't just take a photo in a studio setting and go, I just did an editorial shoot, because it is not editorial. You haven't been published yet. When you get published, then it's an editorial publication, right? So that's one thing that you got to think about. With editorial gigs, there is money to be made, but the only way you make money is if you work directly with the magazine, or you're working, as part of a full-time or part-time team. And a lot of the magazines have, moved to digital. So a lot of them are collab. You do a collab, you submit it, and then voila, you get published. Yay. So yeah, there is money to be made, but not a lot compared to, like, if you're doing a bridal job or a media job. Brands as such, it's like who you know in the industry. Like, a lot of the media stuff that I've gotten throughout the years is literally like who I've known.
Yeah.
And that is just a true fact.
Yeah.
If you don't know the right people, you're not going to get into those gigs.
Realistically, it is all
Network.
your work is, as Soph said, is a network.
100%.
So it's all about how you speak to your fellow colleagues,
100%.
how you speak to your fellow clients, how you treat your fellow clients. So it really has nothing to do with social media.
No, none of it does. And again, I always say this, it doesn't, because, rarely somebody will go onto my page and go, oh, hey, we've got a media shoot for like Woolies or whatever. Like, nobody will do that. But then a friend of mine who knows somebody from an agency is shooting with Woolies. They're like, oh, I know a hair and makeup artist. Do you want to get in contact with them? But also, another thing I say to my students is that if you're ever on a TFP shoot or a collaborative shoot, you always treat it as a paid shoot, because you never know who's on there. Like, the managing director of a company could be on there searching for a hair and makeup artist for his shoot. So you never know who's on there. Like, don't badmouth other people, because you never know who's going to be on there. And that's so important. But going off that, because I'm sidetracking a bit, but going off that,
This was a
I've had-
podcast for Susan, but it's all right.
Sorry, Suze.
Please.
Sorry, girl. I will
am-
pass your
I
question.
am loving this.
Good.
Please.
Um,
No way.
I've had assistants work for me on like campaign shoots for brands, and it's always funny to see the different assistants I've had, because there's been some amazing assistants, and then there's been ones that just sit there and do nothing. And I think,
Yeah.
oh, you know, what did they teach you at school? You know,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But that definitely comes down to how much they're going to succeed in them.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
If you've got an assistant that goes in, cleans your brushes,
Totally.
goes in, cleans up after you, makes sure that you have the right brush for then and there, you know that they're going to get referred work.
100%. And that's the one person I'm going to think of is when I get a paid job that I can't do, and it's like a small gig that I know they can do, is I'm going to go, oh, hey, this is this person.
And you'll use them again.
Would you feel the same? Like, have you
You'll
had
use them again.
assistants? Like, have you worked with assistants before? Or, like-
Definitely.
yeah?
Look, I like to, but then I also don't like to, because I'm
Yeah.
like, you see me as so relaxed and chill, but I'm also such a control freak with things.
Yep.
Like, I'm so chill with visions and creative work, but then with the structure of how things go, like a bridal day must go perfect from start to finish. So I'm
Yep.
so structured with that, things like that. So a lot of the time I just, I find it hard to let go, to trust somebody else.
To give them, yeah.
So
I'm the
if,
same.
If it's something that I know that I can come and pick up the slack for, and I have time to pick up the slack, I'll have an assistant.
Yeah.
If not, I probably won't, because I just don't trust anybody enough. I
Yeah.
might steal your assistant. So
Yeah, I'll pass you on to some really good people. Yeah. But that's funny you said that about picking up the slack, because, you know, and I've had, you know, assistants with big wedding parties, and it's funny how you've got to concentrate on, you know, having everyone happy, like your bride, your bridesmaid, because that's their first point of contact is you, right? So they're depending on you to make their day
It's all on you.
fab. And then your assistant comes to you and goes, oh, hey, you know, like, not sure whether this is like right. And you just think, oh,
that's not a good look.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. You just think, oh my God, like, what the hell? But you don't say that, because you know that they're learning. But you've got to pick up that slack, right? So that's the one thing that you've got to think about as well, like picking up that slack. And sometimes I just think, oh, do I really want an assistant? Because I just think I know, you know, I can just smash that job out.
Yeah.
But then you know that the
100%.
help would be a godsend.
And also, you know that everyone learns somewhere. You know,
Differently.
everyone starts
Yeah.
somewhere, and
Yeah.
you want to help your fellow artists who, you know, because you were also once where they were.
Yeah.
So you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you
Yeah.
you know, help them out
Yeah.
on their journey. But yeah, it's tough to release and let go and have somebody help you. But yeah, I'm very prepared in that style, so I find it hard to let go.
So you've got a structure of how the day should always go through.
100%.
Oh my gosh, yeah. From like time, from like from minute to minute to hour, like it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And you always give a little bit of a leeway. So
Yeah.
I mean, so if that doesn't go according to plan, then it's your bride's day doesn't go according to plan. You're the one holding her up, so it's
Yeah.
tough. But like maybe on a photo shoot, that's fine, because it's one person. They can do you know, the nails while you do the makeup or things like that. I think for editorial shoot, it's a little bit easier than for bridal. Bridals, very high pressure.
Very demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
find it more difficult to have someone coming out.
Because I've seen over the years with Soph that bridal is a key. Like, you've obviously, the way I see the makeup industry, and I'm a male looking from the outside, but from the business point of view, I think makeup is a very tough gig.
Totally.
Very tough gig.
Yeah.
All you do is pretty much either retail or bridal.
When you
And-
start out, yeah.
well, even in the years to come, it's like Sophie yourself. I'm not sure about you, Susan, but getting media gigs is really a second, like very, very difficult. So then obviously you need to evolve yourself. Otherwise it's not a long-term career. So in saying that, how do you not get, say, demotivated? Because obviously it's either bridal or retail. And obviously the girls always go into retail to start off with. Everyone pretty much hits retail unless you've got a real super connection of some sort.
Yeah.
So how do you step out of that retail space and start hitting up that bridal space? Do you take the plunge? Do you take the leap? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in retail for so long, and I actually had somebody who was a lot younger than me come up to me and ask me, like, you know, they want to go to makeup school and become a makeup artist, and they said, what's the best avenue to take? And I said, well, I wish somebody told me when I started. Like, I started so long ago that, you know, the makeup schools weren't, you know, it wasn't very common to go and be a makeup artist. So I didn't really have people to ask for advice. I'm sure there was, but I wasn't savvy enough to ask. It wasn't as free, and the internet wasn't as amazing as it is now. But I would tell them, I told her to actually either go into retail and learn that way, which I didn't recommend. I recommended her to just go and do photo shoots and assist until you, but I said, that's your journey on, you know, it depends on what you want to do. So either way you can go, and she chose retail. So, you know,
obviously, because you get the money straight away.
Yeah, that's
100%.
right. That's exactly right. So it is easier to go into the retail setting because, you know, you are an artist and you get to play and kind of play with so many different faces and features and learn that way. So I think I would definitely tell them to see where their heart is. See where their heart is. Are they creative, or are they more of a people person? Which way do they want to grow? What was the other question? Sorry.
So how do you make the transition? Obviously, you're trying to look at it as a career. So everyone looks at, I guess, the corporate idea or the I'm an electrician, a tradie idea, and you go, oh, you're a makeup artist. Okay, so where's your career path? You're a makeup artist, so that's your prime. Realistically, it's not, because you've got so many avenues you can step into, so many different directions. So how did you yourself, you've been in the industry for over 10 years now.
How did I leave retail?
Well, how did you leave
How
retail?
did you exit?
And
Released. I release you.
get out of jail.
I release you.
But how did you step out of, I guess, that retail space and really evolve yourself?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think things happened to me along my life that led me to the point where I either went back into retail, or I just came to a crossroads where I could choose either to go back to the safe path, which is retail, or just to venture out and just try it out. And if it didn't work, what's the worst that can happen? I just go back. You know, so not everyone's lucky enough to be in that position where they can just venture off and like have fun and just see where it goes. But I'm really lucky that, you know, I have my husband supporting me. And so like I was able to and am able to go in and really enjoy and check out all my avenues and all my so I just really chose to kind of put myself out there and just network with everyone and anyone I could. And I think networking has been my biggest contributor to being able to stay out of retail and just doing what I love. And I really have found such a freedom in being able to explore different avenues that I never thought I could. Or you just kind of get stuck in your own bubble, or you get stuck in, you know, the grind of like, you know, your retail job. And
you wake up, you go to work.
Come home. Like that, to me, I've never been that way. And I've always, like, my family's never been that way. Like my mom is an interpreter. She's like freelancer. My dad's never had a night. Like no one in my family has had a 9-to-5 job. Everyone's been like, you know, working creatively or like casually, or which I've, you know, so for me, it's very weird. It was very weird to get up to go to a job and do the same thing every day. It just felt like I was trapped. So I mean, like now I'm 31 and I'm finally doing something that I really like love, and I feel I feel free.
Okay, so
it's awesome. I was the same as Suze. Like that's where Suze and I met in retail at Longcom. And that was so good days. Those days, the days.
Retail's amazing.
Did you
still,
call
though,
that
you know?
work? Or?
Yeah, I know. We did have.
Well, you know what? Like when we worked together. It wasn't work. We had to be separated a lot. But you know what? Like I look back on retail, because I was in retail for a long time, and it was just the years like just were so fun because I met
It was so fun.
great people.
Me
And
too.
you know, working at Longcom, like I was, you know, exposed to, you know, great things outside of retail. So, you know, working on Fashion Week, you know, doing those extra stuff that a lot of companies don't expose their staff to. But
Yes.
when I was given the opportunity to start teaching, I said goodbye to retail, and I was teaching for a while, and then that didn't go so well with the company that I was with, and I thought to myself, it's either going back to retail like yourself or
Yeah.
going towards a different path, and I chose the corporate path. So I was in corporate, and this was not makeup related or anything. So this was more finance, and I was in there for, I think it was 4 years. But
Wow.
with that, it really taught me about how to really take care of my money, you know, how to invest, you know, all of that stuff that they don't teach you at beauty school.
Teach me.
That I can teach you. I can teach you about finances.
Thank you.
They don't teach you at school. Like, you don't get taught that at school.
No way.
And, you know, that's life
Dolomite?
skills. What's that?
Wasn't Dolomite enough? Dolomite?
Dolomite?
Dolomite account?
It's like,
Dolomite.
is it like Bitcoin? Is it like
Yeah.
Bitcoin?
That's advanced.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about Bitcoin until I started working in finance. I'm like, I have no idea about Bitcoin. But it's funny how 4 years like taught me so much. And then I got to a point where I was in that corporate job and I was like, I'm just missing hair. And I was still doing hair and makeup, but I was missing it so much that I worked with some great managers that gave me a lot of leeway. And at the end of it, it was like, I've got to take this plunge. If I don't take this plunge now, it's never going to happen.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah. So I was like, nope. So I resigned from that job. But when I resigned, it was like, I'm either going to sink or I'm going to swim. And it made me network hard, like hardcore.
Day in, day out.
Yeah, I was like, I've got to find a way to pay all my bills and all my expenses and still have money aside to play with. But that's what really kind of taught me to get out there and network.
Yeah, like I say, when you first did take the plunge, it was
It was scary.
it
was scary
for
moment.
both of
Yeah.
us. And it was, and then I just saw you constantly ringing everyone up, constantly contacting as many people as humanly possible.
Yep.
And you got knocked back 15,000 times.
A lot.
But then you got your one or twos. So
Yeah.
then your one or two started to come through. Then you treated them like they were meant to be
Like
treated
gold.
like gold as a customer.
Yeah.
So you kept those one and twos,
Yep.
but you kept on networking,
100%.
networking. Then you picked up another two.
Yep.
So now you got 4 clients. You're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
shit, yeah. Okay, I'm going to pass one off onto Suze because I need to get more clients.
100%.
Isn't that how it's meant? How the business is meant to run?
100%.
So
Yeah.
then you constantly network some more.
Yep.
Then you have your 6 clients. You've got your 5. Suze has got your 1. And you're like, nah, 4's enough for me. Suze,
Yeah.
here's your 2. Even Suze is doing the exact same thing,
Yep.
throwing you work back and forth. So it's really that network of the two people
100%.
together when it's the business.
Yep.
With the business side of things, it's not about stopping going, oh, I've got this one amazing client. Whatever.
No
What
way.
happens when
No
the client
way.
dries up
No way.
and everything across those lines? So it's
Yep.
about that networking and just hitting it up day in, day out, grinding,
Yep.
grind out.
And you know
just keep
what the
going.
best thing is? Cold calling. Like
Cold calling.
I teach cold calling like it's so old school. But I make my students like cold call. Like I say to them, if you want to build your clientele, you got to cold call. Like there's so many clients I cold called and I said, look, I'm a local hair and makeup artist. You know, I want to know, do you have any kind of vacancies for makeup at your studio, blah, 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 blah. And one of those clients I cold called, they said, oh no, but we'll keep your details because our artist has moved to Melbourne. So I was like, oh sweet. But now they're like, my VIP client. Like they're always giving me work, you know, and they're a gold client of mine. But I wouldn't have gotten that client if I didn't cold call them.
Yeah,
So true.
exactly.
Done the hard work.
Right?
Yeah.
Old school.
Old
Do you believe in cold calling, Suze? Have you ever cold called? Like I hated it at Longcom. I hated cold calling clients.
A cold call
Hello.
definitely makes me
Hello.
sick.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now. It doesn't.
nerd.
How do you start your call? Go, hello, my name's Susan.
Hi. I like to cold message.
Yeah.
Is that better? Is that the
Yeah,
same?
cold message.
right?
You're such a millennial.
This is what
I'm a millennial.
This is what I love. Like, yes, you can cold message, and there's a whole technique behind. I do not understand this technique. I don't
Yeah.
choose to. But I also putting someone on the spot to give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
I really think is key.
Yeah.
Being able to have them on the phone, and you can hear the trembling in the voice of them trying to work out, am I going to give them a chance or not a chance? And then you just
Yeah.
keep talking. You do your sales. It's
Yeah.
all about your sales, like you
I need
said.
to learn off you
It's
guys.
all about your sales, and you
I'll write you up a
const-
script.
Yeah.
Easy. Thank you.
and so she's great. She's great at sales because the years in retail.
Yeah.
Same with yourself, Sue.
yeah.
And then you just speak to them. You don't give them a chance, and you're like, what are those people that are on?
Yeah.
They call you up randomly.
Oh, I hate those. Sorry,
I'm
but
the people that the voice shakes from the other end.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But that's
I
where
don't
you
think.
But in saying that, that's where you practice it. You call up your 10, and I guarantee you by your 8, you probably already have the confidence to go, oh, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm gonna give it a
True.
go.
do you know what I
True.
like about Suze though? Is that she can turn like the biggest awkward situation into the most fun situation. And I need to learn that because I've
have
done
fun, don't you?
I've done jobs with you, like
Yeah.
bridal jobs specifically,
Yeah.
and there are moments where I just want to chuck the
Yeah.
shits at the client, and Susie's like, "Don't worry, babes, like
Yeah.
it's fine."
Fine.
Like it's
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
I just need to learn that, and I just think, how does she do that?
I just
like
pretend to myself. I think it's a bit of delusion. I just pretend to myself that everything's okay. It's fine. It's fine. And then probably when I
Love
get
that.
home, you don't see me crying.
Oh,
No, I don't, but-
no, I love how you approach it because
That's
I'd
fun.
be like, oh, I'd crack the shits because I'd be like, you're just
Yeah.
annoying.
It's easy. It's just like
It's so
It's
easy.
totally easy
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
be negative. I just try and be so positive, and then I'm negative with my husband at home. I just give it to him and I leave
Poor
it all
Todd.
for
It's like,
him.
oh,
Todd, if you're listening,
God.
I feel your pain,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Can you give us some examples?
I only have so much positivity I can have in a day, and that's
Yeah.
for my
Can you give us some examples as well? Like write some examples in the
Yeah,
comment, like
that's
what
right.
she said when
yeah,
she's gotten
that's
home.
right. Yeah, no, it is hard too.
Yeah.
But you
It's
just practice
business.
everything.
It's business at the end of the day,
You
yeah.
have to understand that
Yeah.
those brands have a business. They want to get the best possibility out of them. Who knows? They might have just had a makeup artist they hate
Yeah.
just come through, and you're just calling up a random opportunity.
I think you are so responsible for the energy you bring into a room.
Oh,
Exactly.
100%. 100%.
You
Totally.
can completely lift and change a room up just by being there. And I think
Yep.
just knowing the power you have
Mm.
is incredible. Like, no one will ever forget how that you made them feel. So,
Mm.
Exactly.
maybe
Yeah.
my wing liner was like so shit that day.
Yeah.
But hey, they probably more remember
Yeah, that makeup
Oh,
artist
yeah.
that
was awesome.
sweet joke
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told, or
Sweet,
something,
sweet joke.
Just like
Yeah.
they felt
That felt
good
good.
by being
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it's sales.
Yeah,
Feel free
definitely
to
so
say.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like just to practice that every day, and like then anything you practice becomes easy.
Mm.
And just like your mood, and just like
Exactly
everything
that.
in life, just practice being positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I don't know what more can you ask for. Really, is like
Yeah, yeah.
you've got food, you've got a roof over your head, you've got a bed. Everything else is
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
But how have you, like, in this period, because I know everyone's talking about Rona and
Ro-ro.
like Ro-ro, how have you, because I've seen like so much negativity on social
Yeah.
media, like all these artists going, oh my God, like I'm so sad and I want to quit what I'm doing.
Yeah,
and I just
whinge
look at
fest.
it. Yeah, totally. And I just look at those comments and I think, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
this is making you quit. Like, quit.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what has made you think that? But I see those and I just think, right, so that's just somebody for me that hasn't really thought about what they want to do long term. It's like they're in their little job and
Yeah.
things like that. But have you like thought about how you're going to evolve like throughout
Yeah.
this time, and has it made you think what you want to do long term?
Yeah, I mean, I think like seeing others slow down, you should be pushed to then
Yeah.
speed forward, right?
Yeah.
Just to go yes, like now's
Yeah.
my time. When things are quiet, like we're all collabing now, and you know,
Yeah, totally.
getting my website up,
Yeah.
getting, you know, just doing things that you didn't have time to do.
Mm.
But I think that you just have to remember resilience at this kind of time.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, with
Yeah.
everything you do, like
Yeah.
if something you're faced with something so heavy, I think resilience is just absolutely incredible to have.
What you
and
guys
practice.
Yeah,
you guys were
totally.
saying earlier today was, sweet, I've got the spare time now. Let's get this content together. Let's just start pumping stuff out.
Totally.
I know we've got obviously our restrictions. Soph and yourself, you're not 1.5 meters apart.
Oh, soz
So
everyone.
And
We
yeah,
have sanitized.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Spritzt.
But in
Yeah.
saying that, in like you're utilizing the abilities that you have now, and just going out and just constantly creating that content, creating that symbol of you're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Soph was telling me there was a lot of makeup artists that were going, I'm going to take a holiday during this period.
Oh my God.
It's not a time for a
No
holiday.
way.
This is definitely a time where you put in some solid yards to be able to pick up those new clients.
You know, The Rock.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love The Rock.
Right?
Oh,
So, you know, The Rock has his own alarm clock. That's
Does-
like
does he?
Yeah.
What is it? Okay,
It
so-
says like wake up or like so he's so
Really?
inspirational. He's like,
I love The
if
Rock.
you're up at 5, I'm up at 4. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I think it's like
damn.
he's just incredible. So it's like now it's the time to move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And create things that you didn't have time to before.
Exactly.
Like we never could collab like this. We never
No
had the
way.
time.
No way.
I never had the time. I always had clients, and
Yeah.
now I don't have clients. So you know, or minimal. Like
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
You
At
know,
the time.
at
Yeah.
the time. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
this is slow for us. But creating things that I love with people that I love is like just superb to me. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so amazing.
Yeah.
And I know that's I know it's also like a blessing. Not everybody can.
No.
No,
You know,
of
not
course
everybody
not.
has the funds, or you know, some people are really upset because that's their only source of income, and you know they.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to be upset, but you know, just try and turn your negatives into positives,
Yeah.
and do something that can help you. So when you do start getting work, you have so much to show for it. You know, you didn't just lay
Yeah,
down
for
and
sure.
die. You had some
Yeah.
resilience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or do I'll take
Yeah,
the client.
or did you
That's-
die?
no, I'm
Did you
joking.
die?
Did you die? Love that.
So I'm just going to wrap this up.
Awesome.
So to put it, for all the makeup artists out there, I'm just a voice. You're going to see Soph and Suze there just nodding their heads in agreement to what I'm saying. They haven't got much of a choice.
This is God.
But just to summarize, for all those new makeup artists, all those makeup artists that are really struggling to be able to produce the things that they need to produce, it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
It's all about sales, and it's all about making the customer feel that they're appreciated.
100%.
So if you are struggling in any of those, it's going to reflect back onto your bank account if that's what you're looking at. If you love what you're doing, then just love what you're doing, because that's the biggest sales of all. Because you're going to be producing, you're going to be excited, you're going to be pumping it out as much as possible. So guys, just get out there, do your sales, make people appreciate who you are. Put the customer first. I know how painful that can be. for
Customer is always right.
no, the customer's not always right.
Share
but you
love,
put-
positivity.
Put
Just
the
share your
customer
gift.
first. Definitely put the customer first. They're not always right. I disagree with that significantly.
No, it's
I'm
true.
always
It's true.
Right time.
Are you listening, Todd? Right, Todd?
But in saying that, you have to make them feel like they're worthy.
100%.
And then
Yeah,
you
they are.
and-
They're gold to you.
Yeah.
cold call the shit out of everybody.
You guys have to teach me that.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
I
true.
don't know it. Yeah.
Soph will teach you how to do
teach you.
that.
I'm not the master of that yet.
It's not about mastering. It's about actually. I know I got an internship by just walking into a business and going, "Hey, how's it going?
Wow. That's
Do you have anything going?" And they're
Susan's
like,
going to
"Yeah."
call me later and be like, Susan, are you trying to cold call me? I know that you're trying to cold call me. That's what she's going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wrapping that up with you guys. That for the new guys out there, I think that's what I want to have with this podcast is these. With creatives, there is a business side, and you can't forget the business side of being able to approach, speak to, and I'm pretty sure with any other creatives I have on here, they're going to be the same. That okay, customer comes first. Okay, I have to cold call. Okay, I have to grind. It's all about just grind.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not always about social media.
No.
Not always.
Word of mouth.
Both of you guys have just clarified it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about social media, it's
No.
about word of mouth. So some of those big makeup artists out there, they're not on social media. They're grinding. speaking
What? And
to
they're still
people.
grinding.
Yeah. Some of the biggest models out there, I believe, are just networking. They don't really need to have their social media. I'm sure it's there, but it's not their key.
Oh, with a
thing.
million followers on there, of course. Yeah.
But just grind out what you're really passionate about, and that's what it is. I
Yeah.
really think. Guys, do you have just finishing words?
Yeah, I mean, just if this is the path you want to take, do it. I mean, there's nothing that's going to hold you back. There's room here for all of us to
Yeah.
do the work. Respect one another, give each other work. You'll get it back, I promise. It's a small industry, especially in Sydney. So you can really do great things. Just be positive, treat your customers like family, and you can't
Yeah.
go wrong. You will
Yeah.
always have work,
100%.
and if not work, friends.
Yeah.
100%.
Safe.
Yeah. I agree with whatever Susan said.
Okay.
But yeah, what she said. Yeah, like treat your customers like gold. There's room for everyone in this industry, you know, because we all have something different to give to this industry. And if you feel like in your gut that this is what you want to do, then go and do it, pursue it, you know, like sign up to a course, you know, that's going to be the best, you know, 15 grand investment that you'll ever put yourself through, because I'm telling you now, you most likely make that back anyway. Yeah, but don't think, you know, if you're in your 30s or 40s, it's too late. Never too late. Never too late. Yeah, so just learn, and even for makeup artists that are out there, or hairstylists, whatever, that have been doing it for a long time, keep learning. I just went through so much online learning the last month. A lot.
I'm learned out.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll just cut to myself, and I'll see you in the next podcast. We'll have another awesome creative. Otherwise, we'll just drag Susan back in here for a great podcast. So I hope you enjoyed it, got something inspirational out of it, and just keep everything washing over you. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.